counseling psychology. Counseling psychology is very similar to clinical psychology. It didn't used to be. It used to be that counseling psychology were a field that you were going into more if you were going to help people with their career development. If you were going maybe in university counseling centers, the idea was that they would help you with life adjustment issues. And those included mild mental health issues, but mainly kind of helping you with your career, decide what you would like to do with life. Think of it closer to what we now think of as a coach would be in some respects. But they were licensable. Well, over the years, what has ended up happening is while they're still trained to provide career development and often work in university counseling centers, well, students at universities also have more severe mental health issues. So they started dealing with more and more severe mental health issues. And since that had to happen, they became much more like clinical psychologists. And in fact, today, those internships that I was talking about before with clinical psychology, counseling psychologists have to take an internship as well, and they're usually at the exact same place. We don't separate them out. So the training now is so similar that there's still the idea that people think they want to become clinical psychologists, but I want to encourage you to consider counseling psychology because you're going to get licensed as a psychologist. You're still called Dr. Smith, Dr. Jones, you're still called doctor, and you may be able to get into some of these programs that you weren't able to get into a clinical program, but do the same thing. Usually the GPAs are slightly lower to get into a counseling program. Usually the GRE scores are slightly lower. So as a result, even though you didn't get into some of the top level clinical psychology programs because the competition is so stiff, the competition's slightly less stiff in counseling psychology. And I know some wonderful counseling psychologists. Now, usually the counseling psychology is a PhD. Sometimes it's a PsyD, but that's much rarer. PsyDs are almost always clinical psychology. And occasionally you'll see an EdD, that's a doctorate of education. That happens when the counseling psychology program is housed within the university's education department. Same thing, graduate school is the same. It's 5 years, and it's, as a minimum, 6 or so years is typically the average. And again, it's 4 years at the university and 1 year of internship is your minimum. It's the same as clinical. 1 year postdoc, same thing. Licensure, exactly the same thing. You take the exact same test. There won't be any difference as far as those go.